You're listening to Hearing the Silence of a Convicted Mind. I'm Chameleon. I don't chase noise. I study silence. Let's listen carefully. The case was closed. The sentence was final. But the schedule continued. A date slipped into conversation, casually framed, and it changed everything. When a convicted mind mentions a date, most listeners assume context, a visit, a court date, a birthday. I listen for rehearsal. Listen carefully. Silence always says something. Context. This episode uses a clearly fictional composite. The subject is a mid-level organizer, convicted of a nonviolent but coordinated conspiracy. Sentenced, transferred, serving time in a medium security facility. I reviewed recorded jail calls and permitted transcripts as part of a behavioral audit requested by corrections staff to understand communication risk and contagion inside a constrained environment. No real names. No identifying details. What felt off objectively was not emotion. It was placement. Dates, times, and ordered steps appeared where narrative should have been. A memory turned into a timeline. A confession into a checklist. Those shifts signaled something else. Planning disguised as mundane talk. Analysis A. The language shift. Pay attention to tense. He wasn't speaking in past tense. He was rehearsing possibility. Instead of, I did X, you hear, on the 14th will, or we should plan for the 3rd. That movement from past to future is a signature marker. It converts recollection into instruction. You'll notice repetition of calendar frames. Next week, end of month, first week. Repetition validates a timeline. When the same date is offered across calls, it's not idle memory. It's rehearsal. Future-oriented phrasing, we'll do this, we'll meet, we'll set, functions like a puppet string. Short, precise phrases anchor coordination. Language also shifts in modality. Notice modal verbs. Should, will, can, must. Each softens or hardens in ask. We should invites compliance. We will presumes it. In our composite transcripts, those shifts were deliberate, testing commitment, calibrating responsibility, and grooming an outside listener to act. Analysis B. The silence around time. Silence has patterns. Pay attention to what precedes the calendar cue. There is often a short pause, not hesitation, but staging. A small breath, a micro pause before the date lands. That tiny gap is where cognition arranges meaning. When he said on the 14th, there was a micro pause, then a softened consonant, then the date. The pause functions like punctuation in speech. It highlights the temporal anchor. Breath changes occur too. A quicker inhalation before a timeline, shallower exhale after. Emotional flatness follows. The delivery is matter of fact. Silence is rarely empty. Silence is evidence. Those gaps around time statements serve two purposes. 1. They cue the listener, domesticate the information, make the date feel routine. 2. They mask intention by creating an illusion of spontaneity. A planned timeline delivered with a staged pause reads as casual, and that is intentional. Analysis C. Scheduling as manipulation. Dates become small asks. Can you check in next Tuesday? Hold that till Friday. Those are minor requests on their face, but they test compliance. Each fulfilled date is social proof, a demonstration that an outside contact will act on instruction. Inside incarceration, direct coordination is restricted, so schedules operate as low-risk scaffolding. Timeline requests can accomplish three things: coordinate logistics, signal reliability, and communicate contingency plans without explicit detail. A seemingly banal calendar mention can contain layered directives. You'll also see incremental asks. First, can you bring that on Wednesday? Later, make it Wednesday afternoon. Each step narrows choices, trains compliance, and reduces friction. It's influenced by schedule, a slow shaping of behavior outside the walls. Escalation insight. Zoom out. Conviction limits movement. It does not end cognition. Time becomes a durable resource. Where physical mobility is gone, temporal control persists. Timelines preserve influence. They allow planning across restricted channels. That is the broader pattern. Offenders convert temporal language into leverage. Some adapt socially. They create calendars that others follow. They embed contingency into mundane phrases. Over months, small schedules compound into operational pathways. That is why a single date repeated across calls matters. It signals continuity, organization, and expectation. The chilling realization. Consider one composite exchange. I'll call you on the 14th around noon. If I can't, try the 17th. Short, practical, polite. Maybe spontaneous. Maybe rehearsed. But notice the pattern. Alternatives are prepositioned. Failure is anticipated and folded into the timeline. That level of contingency is planning. Maybe he wasn't reacting. Maybe he expected this phase. Maybe the dates were already mapped and the calls were a method to confirm compliance, not to ask permission, but to ensure alignment. Let that sit. Controlled close. Conviction closes cases. It doesn't always close patterns. Silence has patterns. When you hear a date, ask yourself, is this memory or is it method? If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe for more forensic listening and forensic linguistics applied to post-conviction communication. There's more to learn, more patterns to notice. Is the truth in what is said? Incarceration restricts movement. It does not restrict cognition. Some minds adapt. That's what I heard. Listen carefully.
They call it manipulation. Sometimes, it's adaptation to constant observation. Because when you know someone's always listening, you learn how to speak without saying everything.